Hi everyone, this video is going to help you with page 390 through 392 on the angle sum of a triangle and the exterior angles of a triangle. I have found 4 problems that I am going to work through with you to try to help you with each of the concepts in this lesson. The first problem I'm going to do is number 1. Number 1 and 2, the pictures shown are a little bit confusing because of all the different colors that were used. So what I tried to do was highlight the part that they were talking about on number 1. They used a brighter red color to mark that triangle here, and I just highlighted over it with a dark pencil. But number 1 says the top of a kite is shown below. What is the value of x? So the first example from page 390 talked to you about how every triangle, no matter how big or small it is, every triangle, the 3 angles add up to 180 degrees. The sum of the 3 angles is 180 degrees. So they've told you that this entire angle here, even the blue and purple all together, that angle there is 85 degrees. This angle here is 40 degrees, and then the missing angle is marked x. And they asked you, what is the value of x? So if all 3 angles all together add up to 180 degrees, you can set up a simple equation that shows you adding up all 3 angles, including x, and setting it equal to 180 degrees. Okay, from there, you can combine your like terms. 40 plus 85. And then you should be able to go solve for x from there. All right, the next one I'm going to look at with you is number 3. But before we do that, I did want to have you refer back to example 2, which it matches with. Before you ever try to do your homework, remember, we highly encourage you to look at the examples, including the little notes that they have off to the side. They'll put little post-it notes off to the side that help you how to read the different math concepts and things to watch out for, misconceptions students have. But example 2 talked to you about if you were given a triangle and all they told you were how the sides were related in terms of ratios. So example 2 talked about how the 3 angles had a ratio of 1 to 4 to 5. So all that means, just a ratio of 1 to 4 just means that this side is 4 times bigger than this side. And then the 5 here would mean that this angle would be 5 times bigger than the first side. So if you look, they just took that information and created an equation here. If the first angle would be, just remember has a coefficient of 1. So 1x plus 4x plus 5x. That's taking care of the ratio of 1 to 4 to 5. Okay. And all 3 angles again have to equal 180 degrees together. And then they just went from there and solved for x by combining the like terms. So if you keep with that idea for number 3, you can see I set up what the equation would look like with a ratio of 2 to 4 to 9. So one angle we could represent by 2x. The second angle would be 4x. And the third angle would be 9x. And all 3 angles together added up have to equal 180 degrees. So then just like in the example, you can combine the like terms and solve for x. And I am going to work through that with you so that we can see that there is going to be more to do after we do solve for x. So all those added up, they're all like terms. Would be 15x. And when you solve for x, x equals 12. So if you look back at the question, it does not just say what's the value of x, it doesn't say solve for x. It says what are the measures of the angles. So if you need to, you could go look back again at the example that I was referring to on page 390. But if x equals 12 and 2x is representing one of the angles, 4x is representing one of the angles, and 9x is representing one of the angles, you can go plug in 12 for x and see what the angle measures in degrees actually are. So if you plug in 12 for x, 2 times 12, one of your angle measures would be 24 degrees. And see how you could continue that. Again, if x is 12, you do 4 times 12, and one of your angles would be 48 degrees, and so on. And you can come up with your last one. All right. Okay, the third example we can look at, let's just look at number 5. 5, 6, and 7 you can see are all very similar. So this number 5 should help you with any of those if you had trouble. Back to page 391, the new concept was about the exterior angle of a triangle. And what they spoke to you about in this on page 391 was that if you have an exterior angle, for example, 134 degrees, that is called an exterior angle because it's on the outside of this triangle, right? It's outside this triangle created here in blue. The interior angles are the 3 inside the triangle, okay? But the concept said that if you have an exterior angle, it's equal to the sum of the 2 remote interior angles. So to talk about the word remote, remote means far away, like a remote island is an island that's far away. So you can see that these 2 angles on the inside, they are remote. They are far away from this exterior angle. You know, this one, interior one, that would not be remote to this. This one's close to it, right? It's adjacent to it. So we're talking about the 2 remote interior angles. So these 2 remote interior angles always add up to the exterior angle, okay? So the exterior angle will be equal to the sum of the 2 remote interior angles. And then you can solve for x. The directions say find the value of x. So once you solve for x, you're finished. And then lastly, if you turn to page 394, 10, 11, and 12 are all similar. I will help you work through number 11. The directions say find the measures of the angles in the triangle. So it does not just say solve for x, it doesn't just say find x. So there is going to be more to do after we solve and just get x. We have to go and actually find the angle measures of all 3 angles inside the triangle. Okay, so back to example 1, we talked about how all 3 angles inside a triangle always total 180 degrees. So that's what I just wrote there. And we know the coefficient of x is 1, so this would total 6x equals 180. And then when you solve for x, by dividing by 6 to undo multiplying by 6, x will equal 30. So remember, we have to go find the angle measures now. So if x equals 30, we can go plug in 30 for x up here, and we have 2 times 30. So that angle measure is 60. And then down here we'd have 3 times 30. 90 degrees. And then this one is just going to be x, which is 30. A way to check if you're correct. All 3 angle measures should equal 180 degrees when they're added up. 60 plus 90 plus 30. So that is an easy way to check and make sure that you have not made any mistakes. All right, I hope that helped. Again, this was for page 390 through 394, some help with triangles. Bye.